Stag is a story about one girl's journey from conservatism to freedom fighter. It's set in a fantasy reimagining of Scotland called Storran. And our main character, Cait, moves from this very idyllic village to the capital city because her fiance gets a job, basically, in this militia that fights rebels. And when she gets to the city, she realizes that life isn't quite as great for everyone as it is for her. There's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of struggle, and she starts to have a little bit of a political awakening. And while she's there, she also hears a speech from this infamous rebel firebrand called the Fox of Thornton, and she starts to change her mind. The Fox also references a secret heir to Storran's long empty throne, and if they can steal his crown from a museum down south and crown him, then they might just be able to secure Storran's sovereignty. And one thing leads to another, and Cait ends up going along for the ride. And she learns the power of her own autonomy. She finds her own voice and learns what it truly means to be a patriot. And there's a lot of influence from Scottish culture, history, folklore, and politics in there. I decided to write Song of the Stag because I saw a lack of authentic Scottish representation in fantasy. A lot of the time in fantasy, Scottish culture is used as a kind of shorthand for something seeming mystical and magical, and it's packaged up and meshed together with other Celtic cultures. So I really wanted to create a fantasy world that then felt authentically Scottish to a modern Scottish audience while still being a fantasy setting. So the book is unapologetically Scottish in that regard, and it's also unapologetically political, because the other reason that I decided to write it was because during the independence referendum in 2014, I was 17. It was my first ever time voting, and the adults around me tended to view me as quite naive and didn't really take my opinions on it seriously because I was so young, when my peer group were some of the most educated people that I knew on the subject. So I decided that I wanted to write a Scottish fantasy inspired by the fight for Scottish independence, and so that if people didn't listen to my politics at the dinner table, I could trick them into it by putting it in a fantasy novel. I'm really, really attached to my characters. Song of the Stag is part of a duology, and I'm currently writing the sequel, and I'm really, really glad that there is a sequel because it means that I get to hang on to them for a little longer. I genuinely could not believe that Song of the Stag won the People's Book Prize Frederick Forsyth Award for Fiction. It just blew me away when I found out. I'm so, so grateful for everyone who has voted for this book and championed this book. Thank you so much.